Is Terence Crawford too small for Canelo? Should he stick to 154 and fighters like Errol Spence Jr.? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red. But let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So, a lot of noise being made for a potential matchup between Terence Big Bud Crawford and Sul Canelo Alvarez. And I just want to give my take on whether Terence Crawford is too small and if he should stick to 154 for anybody less.
Terence Crawford once again digs at Jermell Charlo. He says, man, I'm really embarrassed of you, Jermell. I thought you were going to go in and show people what was what. You didn't. You allowed Canelo to do exactly what he wanted to do. You are embarrassing.
All right, y'all. So basically, is Terence Crawford too small to fight Canelo? Does weight even matter as long as you can bulk yourself up to make those weights? Well, to be honest, I think he is too small for Canelo. The big difference is Canelo's a naturally bigger guy, and I know a lot of people would say, well, Errol Spence is naturally bigger than Terence Crawford, and look what happened in that fight. But there's a big difference. Terence Crawford originally started at 130 something, I believe, and he made his way up to 147. The reason I think he had success is because he made his way up to 147. He didn't just jump from 130 to 147. I think if he would have just tried to jump from 130 to 147, he would have probably got knocked on his face several times.
Nobody really want to take the time out to educate themselves or even talk about failure and how to overcome it. So that's what I really want to get out there today. Like, it ain't about winning. The losing got to make you drive and go get something out of life.
He hadn't acclimated himself to the weight. He hadn't went through the natural changes that your body's going to go through when you're bulking it up. And, he didn't become used to carrying that weight around. Number one, it can play with your speed. Terence Crawford is a speed style, combination style fighter. So the last thing he would want is to bulk all the way up, expect to be able to throw combinations and, outwork Canelo Alvarez, and find out that putting on all that weight slowed him down.
Sweet and spicy? Huh? Let me take a look. Hold on, man. There you go.
Basically, it's too much for his arms, his shoulders, his joints to handle and throw that many punches. And, that could be a possibility. It could be a possibility that he actually does better at a higher weight because his body can handle the weight. He said he naturally walks around 180, but there's a reason he's not fighting around 180. There's a reason that he actually drops that weight to make 147.
Been locked up 13 years, did them hard, stood on my 10 toes.
Perhaps Canelo's falling off a little bit. Perhaps Canelo's getting a little slower. Perhaps Canelo isn't as agile and as quick and all these things that he used to be. But, will that matter if both of those guys got into the ring? Is it more of a power thing for Canelo? Because, like I said in my last video, if you watch the Canelo-Jermell Charlo fight, Jermell Charlo had moments in that fight. They were few and far between. But there were moments in that fight to where you could see him getting a little pressure on Canelo with the combinations that he was throwing. The problem was he probably only did it like 2 or 3 times throughout the whole fight, but those combinations were definitely giving Canelo problems.
Let go my bed, fool. I'm not playing. Where you going? I'm leaving you. Look, I'm sorry. I told you I ain't gonna do this no more. Look, I ain't gonna cheat no more. I'm gonna be faithful, man. I ain't gonna talk about your edges no more. Oh, God, I didn't get.
My thing is this: if Terence Crawford was to fight around that weight, and going into the fight, he was throwing combinations to begin the fight, but realized somewhere during the fight that the combinations and throwing a lot of punches was slowing him down because of the extra weight, and he ends up getting knocked out because he can't sustain that type of fighting with that much weight on him. Would that even be worth it for Terence Crawford? Is it worth him potentially getting knocked out by Canelo Alvarez just to get a paycheck? You know, is this all about the paycheck and not really about trying to beat Canelo? Because I think a lot of these guys, they go into it with the mindset of, I can beat this dude, I can beat this dude. Then they hit the ring, they get hit a couple of times, and it becomes, well, you know, I got paid.
That's my dog, that's my dog, that's my dog.
This is dope. Bought Crawford pound per pound.
Who cares? I got paid, you know, and it's a big paycheck. And if I lose, I can just retire with a big payday, and you can say I dared to be great. You know, this generation of fighters, I think, is more about the perception and the money than it is about actually daring to be great. You know, the one thing about Terence Crawford is he's a good fighter, but once again, unless you're acclimating yourself to these weights and you're going up perhaps fighting the next guy, you know, maybe not Canelo, but the guy next to Canelo, you know, his biggest rival at that weight, and you beat him, then you can go into a Canelo fight and say, hey, I got a chance of beating Canelo because I've already proved something. And I've acclimated myself to the weight. Him just jumping into it, I think, would be a big problem, man. We haven't even seen what he can do at 154. I would love to see him at least take on Errol Spence at 154, since that is pretty much a mandated fight because y'all contractually obligated to do it. So if he went in there and he beat the crap out of Errol Spence again, then I would say, you know, moving up, he's got a fair chance. You know, he's done something at 154. He's got a chance to move up to 160 and actually rival Canelo, especially if at 154, the combinations they carry into power, you know, they actually turn into power punches from him putting on that extra weight. Those combinations, they're not just to keep a guy off of you or to throw and land more punches than your opponent. They're actually there to hurt your opponent. So if he can hurt Errol Spence at 154 or Charlo at 154, he can hurt Canelo Alvarez at 160 or 168.
Jordan told me after they swept us, before you succeed, you must first learn to fail. And I just got tired of failing. So one time we got swept by the Spurs, and I went in the bathroom and I ripped up all the toilets, all the urinals. There was shit flying everywhere. And Jerry West came in there and he grabbed me. He was strong as hell too, and he put me up against the mirror. Calm down. It's like, I'm tired of losing. He's like, you gonna get it done? I went to the finals 8 times in a row before I won and lost. And like, my soul just left my body. I was like, what?
Let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. But you're more than likely to get a response on the tubes. So holler at me over there. If you want to collabo, feature a product or your channel or my channel, feel free to hit my Gmail because it is a flock of cards at gmail.com. And we are...
Now first off, I don't drink homemade booze. I don't leave home without my shoes. I don't go to parties and barns, don't get it confused. My cousin's not my boo, now that's nasty. They think our wigs all patched and nappy. Everybody's black and ashy, just so you never have to ask me. It's not what you think. If you think we're not dropping knots at the bank, now that's dumber than running at cops with a shank. You thinking I'm running and hopping in lakes, possum and snake over lobster and steak. Niggas look at me like I got to be fake, cause my clock operates with a watch in the face, equipped with alarm so I don't need a rooster. Nigga, it's the future, let me introduce ya, but you ain't used to. Truth, you know what I'm saying? We ain't that country, we ain't that country, we ain't that country, we ain't that. So what you want? South, we ain't that country, we ain't that country, we ain't that. Niggas will murder you. I said we ain't that country, we ain't that country, we ain't that. So what you think? South, we ain't that country, we ain't that country, niggas will. Now I ain't never milked a cow, but I will get bread from a heifer. I'm ahead on my schedule, getting bread on that level. Y'all niggas is two-faced. I slow a nigga's hustle down, leave him screw face. Now who laced that track? Sauce one. one, back at it again, backslapping your friends. Crack balance and gin, backsliding in sin. Max gotta attend to what that hustle brings in. Biggest problem on my streets by far. Nigga, get you for your ride, might leave it on fire. Get your speakers wise, even your tires. You can think I'm bullshitting, you'll believe it tomorrow. When you in your driveway, not seeing your car. He pulled off when you was sound asleep. And you can keep your little Bentley, cause them crowns is cheap. 212s in the back, cruise down the street.
We ain't that country, we ain't that country, we ain't that country, we ain't that country.
So what you
ain't that country, so we ain't that country, so we ain't that country, we ain't that
niggas
country.
will work you.
So we ain't that country, we ain't that country, so we ain't that
So
country.
what you